The Caribbean, a place we all imagine as paradise. Turquoise water, golden beaches, smiling faces, and endless sunshine. But what if I told you that this paradise is quietly collapsing? In 2025, the Caribbean is facing a tourism crisis. Unlike anything we've seen before, flights are being canceled, resorts are closing, and thousands of workers are losing their jobs. Behind the palm trees and postcard views, there's a storm brewing, an economic storm that could change the future of these islands forever. Today, we're uncovering the 7 Caribbean countries whose tourism is collapsing and the heartbreaking truth behind what went wrong. Number 1. Jamaica, the tourist magnet losing its shine. For decades, Jamaica has been the heartbeat of the Caribbean, the island of reggae, rhythm, and radiant smiles. From Montego Bay's luxury resorts to Negro's laid-back beaches, millions of travelers came every year seeking warmth, culture, and life. But in 2025, the rhythm has changed. Tourist arrivals are plummeting. Airlines have slashed flights. Some resorts, once full of music and laughter, now echo with silence. The numbers are painful, small hotels are closing down, and major chains are reporting record losses. Taxi drivers wait for hours with empty back seats, and beach vendors stare at the horizon, hoping a cruise ship might finally appear. The beach is full of waves, one man in Montego Bay said, but not of people. Rising prices, outdated infrastructure, and fierce global competition have hit Jamaica hard. Even loyal travelers are turning elsewhere, to cheaper, trendier destinations. The island that once danced to Bob Marley's beat now struggles to find its rhythm again. For many Jamaicans, it's more than an economic problem, it's a heartbreak. The spirit of hospitality that defined their nation is fading beneath the weight of uncertainty. Number 2. The Bahamas, paradise. Hit by too many storms. The Bahamas, the picture of paradise. White sands, crystal clear water, and world-class resorts that once drew the world's elite. But paradise has a cost, and that cost has become too heavy to bear. Over the last few years, the Bahamas has been battered by hurricanes that wiped out homes, infrastructure, and hope. Rebuilding has been painfully slow, and insurance premiums have skyrocketed. Many resorts that were destroyed never reopened. Investors pulled back, and tourists, especially from the US, started choosing safer, cheaper options like Cancun, Costa Rica, and Thailand. Local workers, once proud of welcoming guests from across the globe, now face empty hotel lobbies and fading tips. One hotel worker in Nassau told us, "We used to greet hundreds of guests every day. Now it's just empty halls and memories." The Bahamas hasn't lost its beauty, it's lost its stability, and that's something paradise can't survive without. Number 3. Barbados, the cruise capital that lost its ships. For decades, Barbados was a cruise lover's paradise. Ships lined up across the horizon, horns blaring as thousands of passengers poured into the streets of Bridgetown. The air was alive with music, color, and laughter. But in 2025, the harbors are quiet. Cruise arrivals have fallen dramatically, and the local economy is gasping for breath. The reasons? Soaring fuel prices, environmental restrictions, and shifting global travel habits. Many cruise companies are now focusing on Asia and the Mediterranean, leaving the Caribbean behind. The domino effect has been devastating. Restaurants shutting down, markets empty, artisans migrating abroad just to survive. One street vendor put it perfectly: when the ship stopped, our heartbeat stopped with them. The island's rhythm is slowing, its economy shrinking, and the very culture that tourists once celebrated is now at risk of disappearing. Number 4. Dominica, ecotourism's silent collapse. Dominica, the nature island of the Caribbean, a land of waterfalls that whisper through the rainforest, of emerald rivers, steaming valleys, and warm volcanic springs. For years, Dominica was the shining example of ecotourism done right. It wasn't about luxury, it was about living with nature, not against it. Travelers came here to disconnect, to breathe, to listen. But in 2025, the silence has grown too deep. The same mountains that once attracted explorers are now cutting the island off. Flight routes are fewer, and ferry lines are inconsistent. The rising cost of global airfare has pushed Dominica off the map for many eco-travelers. And then came the storms. Hurricane after hurricane, each one erasing progress, washing away trails, roads, and entire villages. Rebuilding became harder each year. Insurance companies pulled out. Investors lost interest. Small eco-lodges, once booked for months, now stand empty, roofs rusting, walls covered in moss. Locals who once guided visitors through lush jungle canopies now work on farms or migrate to neighboring islands for survival. I remember when people came here just to breathe our air, sighs Maria, a former tour guide. Now, the air is still here, the forest is still here, but the people, they're gone. Dominica's story isn't one of greed, it's one of neglect. It was never the loudest island. It didn't sell luxury or nightlife. It sold peace. But in a noisy, distracted world, peace no longer sells. Dominica stands as a quiet reminder. Even paradise can fade, not with an explosion, but with silence. Number 5, St. Lucia. When luxury stops selling, St. Lucia, the jewel of the Eastern Caribbean, the Twin Pitons rise like giants from the sea, wrapping the island in a sense of timeless magic. For decades, this was the place where love stories began. Honeymoons, anniversaries, dream weddings. But now, St. Lucia's luxury dream is cracking. The high-end resorts that once charged thousands per night are struggling to fill rooms. Bookings are down. Cancellations are rising. Wealthy travelers who once filled these suites are now choosing Dubai, Bali, the Seychelles, places that offer ultra-modern experiences at competitive prices. The world's elite aren't just looking for beauty anymore, they're chasing novelty. Meanwhile, St. Lucia's tourism infrastructure is aging. The cost of electricity is among the highest in the region. Imported food prices have tripled, and staff shortages have forced many hotels to reduce service quality, damaging their once golden reputation. In the capital, Castries, small shop owners say that tourism dollars just don't flow like they used to. Cruise passengers spend less, and overnight visitors are rarer. One resort worker shared, "We used to serve champagne every morning. Now, we just hope there's enough guests to serve breakfast." Behind the glamour, St. Lucia's debt is mounting. The government, under pressure, has begun offering land for investment deals, selling parts of the island's natural beauty to foreign developers. But that raises an even darker question. How much of St. Lucia will remain St. Lucian? Tourism made this island rich in smiles, but dependent in survival. When the luxury guests stop coming, the entire system wobbles. And yet, the locals endure. Fishermen still head out before dawn. Market vendors still sell their fruit with laughter. The Pitons still rise, proud and unbroken. But beneath that beauty, St. Lucia's heart is asking one question. How long can paradise survive when the world stops buying dreams? Number 6, Antigua and Barbuda. When the planes stop coming. Antigua and Barbuda, the twin islands of endless beaches. They say there's a beach for every day of the year. 365 perfect shorelines, kissed by turquoise waves and golden sun. But no matter how beautiful the beach, if no one arrives to see it, it's just sand and silence. In late 2024, major airlines began cutting routes to the Caribbean. Rising fuel costs, lower global demand, and shifts toward regional tourism left Antigua suddenly isolated. For a nation that depends on air arrivals for nearly 80% of its tourism, it was like pulling the plug. Overnight, hotels started canceling bookings. Taxi drivers sat idle for days. And in St. John's, the capital, local business owners watched their livelihoods vanish like low tide. One cafe owner said, "We prepared every morning for the flight crowd. Fresh pastries, coffee, smiles. But when the planes stop, we stop too." Entire resorts now stand half empty, their infinity pools reflecting only clouds. Wedding planners, photographers, boat tour operators, all caught in a chain reaction of collapse. Barbuda, the smaller sister island, has been hit even harder. Still recovering from Hurricane Irma's devastation years ago, it relied on new investments to rebuild. But with no tourists, those projects have frozen. The government has tried everything, offering flight subsidies, travel incentives, and even digital nomad visas. But rebuilding trust takes more than policy. Travelers need confidence, investors need certainty, and right now, both are in short supply. A fisherman summed it up perfectly. We used to watch planes land every day. That sound meant money, meant life. Now, we just look up and wait. Antigua and Barbuda's story is a warning. In the global tourism game, distance is death. If the world can't reach you easily, it stops reaching at all. And for a paradise built on connection, that's the cruelest silence of all. Now, we just look up and wait. Antigua and Barbuda's story is a warning. In the global tourism game, distance is death. If the world can't reach you easily, it stops reaching at all. And for a paradise built on connection, that's the cruelest silence of all. Number 7. Haiti, a paradise held hostage by chaos. Haiti, the first independent Black republic in the Western Hemisphere, a nation of courage, culture, and incredible beauty. Its mountains roll like waves, its beaches shimmer like gold. Haiti could have been the crown jewel of Caribbean tourism, but its story has been rewritten by chaos, corruption, and heartbreak. In 2025, the dream of Haitian tourism has all but vanished. Political instability, gang violence, and economic collapse have turned the once promising destination into a place of fear. Cruise ships no longer dock at Labadee. International flights are minimal. Even humanitarian missions struggle to operate safely. The government's plans for beach resorts, mountain trails, and cultural tourism projects have all been frozen, abandoned mid-construction. Hotels sit empty, overtaken by weeds and whispers. For those who once worked in tourism, the pain runs deep. Every time there was a new project, we hoped it would be the one to save us, says Jean, a former tour guide. Now, hope feels like a foreign language. But beyond the statistics and headlines lies something harder to measure: the emotional cost. Entire communities that once danced, sang, and welcomed the world now live in fear. The arts have quieted. The festivals that once drew thousands are shadows of what they were. And yet, amidst all this, Haiti's spirit refuses to die. In small villages, locals still plant gardens, still sing to the drumbeat of hope. Mothers still tell their children stories about a better tomorrow. Because for Haiti, tourism was never just about money. It was about pride, about showing the world that beauty can grow even from pain. One young woman in Cap Haitian put it best: "We don't need pity, we just need peace. Let the world see who we really are." Haiti's paradise still exists. It's just waiting for peace to open the gates again. The Caribbean, to most of the world, is still postcards and sunsets. But behind those images are millions of people fighting to survive. Tourism isn't just an industry here. It's lifeblood. It feeds schools, fuels hospitals, builds homes, and binds communities together. When that stops, everything stops. The fall of tourism in these 7 nations isn't just about lost profit, it's about lost purpose. Empty hotels mean hungry families. Abandoned airports mean broken dreams. And the longer the silence lasts, the harder it becomes to rebuild. But there's another truth. The Caribbean has never given up. Time and again, through slavery, hurricanes, and global crises, these islands have risen from the ashes. And they will again, because the Caribbean isn't defined by luxury resorts or 5-star hotels. It's defined by its people, proud, creative, resilient. People who can take disaster and turn it into dance. The world may forget them for now, but they will not forget themselves. Paradise isn't dying, it's fighting. And maybe this collapse is the wake-up call the world needs: to travel more consciously, to support local businesses, to protect what's real before it's gone. If this story moved you, share it, because awareness is power, because paradise deserves a voice. The Caribbean is not just a vacation, it's a living, breathing world of people, dreams, and history. So the next time you see a beach photo, remember, behind that beauty is a story of resilience, survival, and hope. Subscribe to our channel for more real stories the mainstream won't tell you. Stories that matter, stories that reveal, stories that remind us that even paradise can bleed and still rise again. This is not just the fall of tourism, it's the story of paradise fighting to survive and to be reborn.